flat where rain would drip from the roof and rats would gnaw away at our vegetables. Actually, it was horrible.
Increasingly, official rallies like this one held little appeal for young East Germans like Andreas and Carmen. A spirit of rebellion was gradually emerging, sometimes in the most surprising places. The often grim reality of living in East Germany was something Michael Schmidt, a children's film animator, wanted to feature in his work.
Wollte ich das auch machen und wollte da auch.
I wanted to represent a bit of East German reality. That is, I wanted to show houses with crumbling plaster and broken gutters.
Oder wo die Dachrinne kaputt ist. Von der Leitung des
But I was told it was too realistic, so my film was rejected.
Realismus hatte in dem Film.
Michael responded by secretly making an erotic version.
Und das Lied sagt nun jetzt der Volkspolizist.
The policeman shows the girl how to get to the park,
Den Weg und hilft ihnen über die Straße und er zeigt nun jetzt dem schon Erwachsenen,
where he wants to seduce her.
Park ist. Also er will dieses Mädchen verführen sozusagen. Also der Karl Marx, der ist erstmal unbeteiligt. Man denkt erstmal, das ist so eine
At first, the Karl Marx monument remains impassive to the tearing up of the rulebook.
Aber er schaut schon mal rüber. Man sieht, dass die.
But then his eyes start roving, and you realize that after all, the monument is alive.
Es ist doch Leben in diesem absolut
A little bump comes out of the pedestal as he follows the action with his eyes and takes in the girl.
Und dann, als er auch das Mädchen sieht, da kriegt er eine kleine Beule am Sockel.
That's when you realize that even the great Karl Marx has urges.
Dieser große Karl Marx hat auch Gefühle sozusagen in dem Moment. Eine Person, die heilig war damals, ne, und die man ja eigentlich absolut nicht verulgen konnte.
This man was sacrosanct, and at that time it was not allowed to make fun of him.
Man hatte ja damals auch schon so, es war so die Zeit, wo Gorbatschow schon anfing.
But Gorbachev was already in charge, and people started to think of Marx as old-fashioned.
Schon so ein bisschen belächelt, ne? Also man war ja nicht mehr so.
People knew that many things Marx had written in his Bible didn't work. That is, communism as it was envisaged.
By now, even the Sandman was harboring illegal thoughts. This episode proved controversial, as paragliders were banned in East Germany to prevent people using them to escape across the border. And it is the border, and especially the wall, that remains the symbol of East Germany, shutting its citizens in and dividing families. Jutta Gallus-Fleck, with her two young daughters, made an unsuccessful escape attempt from East Germany. This led to her family literally being torn apart. Her two daughters were forcibly adopted by the state. On average, more than 7 people were imprisoned every day for trying to escape. Jutta was sentenced to 3 years in prison for attempting to flee East Germany.
All I was allowed to keep was one photograph where I was pictured with my girls. But I had to cut my head off from that picture. I had to cut my head off because I wasn't allowed to preserve any identity, just a number.
In their mother's absence, the girls threw themselves into dancing.
Uns wurde jeden Tag
Every day at school we were told how bad capitalism was, and that our mother was a bad person, and that she had done wrong.
Jutta's freedom was eventually bought by West Germany. Over the years, the communist regime made over £1 billion from the trade in selling its own citizens. Once in the West, Jutta campaigned for the release of her 2 children.
I went to Checkpoint Charlie almost every day for 6 months. I'd put my placards on, and looking towards the east, I would say, "They are what I want." Honecker regime, give my daughters back. My children who are in forced adoption and who live in a state children's home, I want to have those children. Give me my children back.
Their only communication was via letters which were censored.
I can say we weren't allowed to draw Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse was Western propaganda. It was forbidden to draw such things.
After 6 years of separation, Jutta was finally reunited with her daughters in August 1988.
That was incredible. No one will ever be able to take that away from me. For us, that day is the day of our personal reunification. I'm very proud of the fact that we managed to make it happen before the wall came down.
By the autumn of 1989, discontent with the regime was growing apace.
That was the big demonstration in Berlin.
Curiously, it wasn't about getting rid of East Germany. That was not the issue. And neither was the reunification of Germany. It was about reforming our country. Back then, we still believed it would be possible to create another type of socialism. Now you see flowers attached to a police car. The security forces kept well back.
Unlimited freedom of travel was a very important demand. And when we got it, we lost many other things.
Many East Germans, like Carmen and Andreas, miss aspects of their socialist state. Guaranteed employment, generous welfare benefits, and a certain camaraderie are often cited as examples of what was lost when the Berlin Wall came down.
Actually, we used to lead a good life. There were many things in East Germany that disturbed us and made us angry, and I'm glad they don't exist anymore. But nevertheless, we had a good life in many ways.
Geht einmal zu Ende.
East Germany was a child of the Cold War, and its end came with the end of the Soviet Empire 2 decades ago. Given the revelations that have emerged since, from places like the Stasi files, it is perhaps surprising that anyone should feel nostalgic about it. Yet the country lasted for 40 years, long enough to produce a new kind of society. A socialist paradise it wasn't. But while few want communist East Germany back, some genuinely miss aspects of their lives there. Next time, the lost world of Czechoslovakia, where communism tried to reform itself and failed, consigning people to an era of forgetting.
Erinnern Sie sich dann und wann?
And there's a BBC book written by Peter Malloy to accompany the series. The acclaimed film comedy Goodbye Lenin is tonight at 11:50. Coming up next on BBC Two, Comic Relief does Top of the Pops.